Welcome back to Green Wheels, the podcast that's shifting gears towards a more sustainable future. I am your host, Eugene Ni Amuagogo, and I'm excited to welcome back our guest from our previous episode, Mr. David Apia Owusu Anam, an environmental care expert with a wealth of knowledge on sustainable practices. Last time, we explored the importance of proper vehicular oil disposal, and today we will be looking at how Ghana's government and private sector can collaborate to improve used oil collection and recycling infrastructure. That can be addressed.
Now, we can talk about the EPA. When I say EPA, it simply means Ghana's Environmental Protection Agency. Now, the Ghana Environmental Protection Agency has implemented rules and regulations that will be able to manage the methane emissions in the oil and gas industry. Now, the EPA has established guidelines for sustainable oil disposal practices. Now, when these guidelines are being followed, when these guidelines are being acted onto, then we are going to have good improvement in the oil disposal. Now, the Hazardous and Electric or Electronic Waste Control Management Act also provides for the control management. Let's take note. They provide for the control management and the disposal of the hazardous waste. Now, let me drag your mind on something here. Now, the Ghana Maritime Authority regulates the control of the waste oil and engine oil. Now, if their standards are being followed for proper disposal of the vehicular oils, then I don't think we are going to get a harmful respiratory system, a harmful health risk. We are going to have limited public dominance or service dominance or sector dominance or public awareness inadequately. When the rules and the standards are being followed, now we will be able to get proper disposal of oil disposal or vehicular oil disposal. Also, now the National Healthcare Waste Management Policy.
Hold on, before you go to the National Healthcare Management System, you mentioning EPA, and earlier you stated that they have regulations and policies that regulates the disposal of oil. But we ask, are they relevant? Are people enforcing the laws? Institutions, the EPA themselves, what are they doing to enforce the laws? Because if you come to our communities and you go to the fitting shops, we all know how they dispose of their oil. What should they do more?
Now, each and every individual should be responsible for each and everyone's health. They have brought out the policies. Now, the policies are being implemented. Now, they do not have to go rounds to check all these particular things, okay? So when a public awareness is being created, what they need to now do is, now they need to create a public awareness. The social media handles are supposed to be used. The Twitter, the Instagram, the Facebook, the radios, the televisions, they can even go on it. Create public awareness. Because they cannot go to every, when you look at Ghana, they have a whole lot of mechanic shops. And then the EPA agencies, the Environmental Protection Agencies, cannot go around all these mechanic shops to create this awareness, educate them on it. So there needs to be the use of the radio, the use of the TV, the use of the social media platform. When the places are being used, what can we do? They can create the public awareness. Now, so the mechanic heads, the seniors in the mechanic shops, the owners of the mechanic shop can now also transfer the education that they have been implemented or that they have gotten. Okay, the knowledge that have been imparted into them, they can also impart that same knowledge to their subordinates. Therefore, when particular things or those particular things are done, we can have proper disposal of vehicular oil. Then when you go to shops in Ghana and Accra per se, when you go there, when the knowledge that are being impacted into the seniors or the owners of the mechanic shops, and then they also pass it on to their subordinate, I bet you and I can walk to a mechanic shop without seeing any vehicular oil spillage on the ground.
Yeah, Mr. Anand, if you can hear me right, when you go to our various mechanic shops, our team went out last week and we spoke to some mechanics. They said that one of the ways of disposing their oil is they put it in gutters, the reason being it kills the mosquitoes. And this is a myth. Now, Mr. Anan, let's move on. What are some of the common practices and perceptions regarding used oil disposal among vehicle owners and mechanics in Ghana? When we look at, we come to our community and we come to our space here in Ghana, what are some of the things that the mechanics do, even the car owners, when they go to the fitting shop, or better still, they go to their mechanics or the fitter, as we popularly say, when they change their engine oil? What are some of the practices you know that they do which negatively affect or contributes to environmental hazards?
Most vehicle repair garages in Ghana lack proper storage and disposal facilities for used oil. In Ghana, when you go to our mechanic shop, you can see there are no proper garages that are being used to take care of vehicles of these sorts. Now, when the vehicles are being cared for, the vehicles are being repaired. Now, when our vehicles are being repaired, okay, Ghana lacks, most of our mechanic shops in Accra or Ghana, we lack proper garages. Now, if these garages are properly cared for, or we have spacious garages that can be able to cater for these vehicles that are being repaired, I think there will be, how do I say, there will be a space that, or there will be a space that will be used for the proper disposal of used oil.
That's all for today's episode of Green Wheels. Thank you, David, for sharing your expertise and insights on sustainable transportation. You have given us a lot to think about and plenty of practical tips to make a positive impact on the environment. To you, our listener, thank you for tuning in and being part of the conversation. Remember, every small action counts, and by working together, we can create a more sustainable future for all. My name is Eugene Amuagogo, your host for today's program. And thank you once again for doing the listening.